You are listening to GHP Radio, powered by iTrackRadio.com, your independent music source. Fresh, new music, right here on the all-new GHP Radio, your new independent music source. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Indie Live Spot. And we are very, very happy and excited today because we have a special guest. As you can see, Saxtress Miss Pamela Williams is in the house, y'all. Help me welcome. Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the show, Pamela. We welcome you. We welcome you very much so. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. And for those out there that are watching, our other two co-hosts are not here today. CTK is out and Char's here. Char's out, but me and Vaughn is here. So, but again, we're very excited about today's guest and just want to welcome Pamela to the show. And so Pamela, so it's great to have you on. Telling you, I've been following your music for so long, and it's just great to be able to finally get to connect with you today on the show. So again, I want to thank you for being here.
Oh, sure, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. So how you been doing and everything with the music? I know your music. I had some music sent to me today, and so it's just exciting to know that you're still doing your thing. So tell us what's been going on with you and
Okay.
all that kind of good stuff, because I know you got
All
a
that
lot of
good
great
stuff.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah, just staying in the studio, trying to keep a single out at least every 6 months, and so that's what I've been doing. I just started working because I still have a single out now that you just got. Yeah, it's still on the charts, so still doing well.
Yeah.
Trying to get it to move on up, into that top 10, top 5 spot. So it's got a little bit of juice behind it. But in the meantime, I started working on a new single that I want to have out in October. So
Okay.
so that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Awesome.
And painting.
And painting too. Oh wow.
And
Very,
painting,
very
yes.
much so. That's awesome.
Yes.
Now the single, it was at the right time. Is that the one that we're speaking of? Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the single as far as that goes. Who's on it? You're produced by and all that kind of.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
the song was written it was sent to me by a really good friend of mine. He's a saxophone player too. His name is Dorsey Summerfield, and he was a professor at the University of Shreveport and teaching music there. So he's retired now, but we've been friends, oh my God, for so long. And so he ended up hiring me like years ago to do a show in Shreveport, Louisiana. And we just hit it, you just hit it off with somebody. We did that one gig. I think we did like maybe 2 other things after that, but we just clicked from the beginning. Great saxophone player, but he's a really good songwriter too. So he was like, I'd like to send you some material. Would you be interested in maybe recording one of my songs? And I was like, yeah, just send it to me. So he sent me the track.
Yeah.
I liked it, and I got it and I produced it and changed some things around and just got it to the point where it was ready for radio.
Yeah.
And so we collaborated together. I added, he had the basic groove and I added like a bridge and I added some other changes to it. And, they, in smooth jazz, they like for the music to, go different take you to different places. So it needed some other elements. And we did that and it came out. That's what we ended up coming out with. So
Very nice. Yeah. Vaughn, I know you want to jump in here.
Well, I've been a fan of hers for quite some time too, Gary, and it just kind of adds on to I'm lucky to be here, and it's just like always looking forward to meeting some of the best talent out there, and she certainly fits that mold. I was wondering because usually, I got used to you like doing like an album like what every 6 months at least.
It was like maybe once a year, every year.
Once, yeah, and I was looking out for that one. She's consistent. She's coming out with something every month, every year. So, and I kind of felt there was something like delayed or something wasn't going on, and I was like, wait a minute, I hadn't, because I know all the other ladies that are out there, you know, on those saxophones, and they're just churning out the work and stuff like that. I said, "Where's Pam? Where's Pam?"
I know. I
Okay.
know everybody asked me that because I took a little sabbatical from music. I just got into real estate for a little while, and part of that was I had to take care of something. My grandmother had passed away. She left me a house. Had to rehab the whole thing. It was grueling. I got it done. So I just had to put music on the back burner just for a minute while I did some of that stuff, and it took quite a bit of my time up. But I was still gigging. I was still doing shows. I just wasn't recording any new music.
Right.
I see.
So, I think in 2014, 2013, maybe I did a Christmas CD, and that was pretty much the last thing I did for about 5 or 6 years. And then when the pandemic happened in 2020, I was going to release a whole, because I have music for a whole CD. And so now that I'm an independent artist, you know, I was like, no one's releasing whole albums anymore. I mean, not that they're not doing it, but everyone's just putting out one single.
Right.
And that's all they're going to really play anyway.
Yeah.
And so I'll just follow suit. Instead of doing the whole CD, I'll save each of the songs for a possible single. And so that's what I did. So 2020 got crazy because of the pandemic. So I didn't know if it was a good time. And I was like, maybe this is a great time to put out music now because people are home. Right. Maybe it'll be something that can uplift everybody and just, you know, we all tried to think of creative things to do while we were stuck in the house, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's what happened. That little break.
So being independent now, does that kind of give you a greater flexibility to, you know, is your creativity expanded now with the work in the studio now?
Oh my God, yes. Now you know how I answered that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I figured a lot of these labels, you know,
yes, my God.
You.
You know, yeah, because a lot of people ask me, they're like, how does that work? Like, you hear these stories about record companies, you know, being on top of you, on top of your creative control with the iron fist, and it does happen,
right?
You know, especially early on, you know, when I was a new artist, and then I had these great ideas in the studio, and you know, I wanted my ideas to be heard, but at the same time, I was open to listen to other people's music input as well. I wasn't like, it's all my way or the highway. It wasn't like that at all. But there are times when I would be completely ignored. I'm sitting in the studio like, hey, I got a great idea for the song, you know, instead of us going back and forth for 3 hours, can you just listen to my ideas? So at first I was a little laid back in the area. Of course, as I, you know, when I came out and I started, you know, I just had to have more input creatively in my music. And I gradually just started taking control that way. And sometimes it would be people from the record company, you know, at the sessions, you know, and it was like, I didn't like recording like that because I'm like, I don't need like executives walking around the studio. Like, we'll take care of the musical part of it. You know, you sell the music, let me record it, but let me be in a comfortable space because I didn't like feeling like there's people scrutinizing everything I play. And it was like that sometimes, like every note, you know, I'm like, oh my God. So I had gotten to the point where by my third album, I did 2 records. And by that third one, I was like, I'm going to be independent. I just want to do things my way. And I didn't stay on the label that I was on at the time. Yeah. And I got off the label, decided on my third CD that I was going to just try it myself. So I was actually doing the independent thing way back then. It was like 2000 and I think I came out with that record. I started working on it in 2001. Okay. So that's pretty radical at the time. I decided to just go out on a limb. I didn't really know what it was going to entail. I just used a lot of my own money to do it. I did. It took me 3 years to do it because it was just because when you fund your own project back then, now things are different now because we have computers, so I can just record. Yeah. In a little box in a studio. It sounds just like you've been in a big studio, but I decided I did that project, and then I got back. Then I did the record company thing again when I got back with Shiny Key Records. And so at that point when I went in, I kind of had my feet wet a little bit in the business. I learned some things. I knew what to expect. So I was a little bit more mature in that area, in the business aspect of it. And so when I went in, I was like, I want to have creative control over half of my records if you want me to sign.
Right.
And so they were like, okay. And so I just, I was like, I can do this. Let me just have the creative freedom. But yeah. So I know I went on and on about it, but it's a big question because you have to let artists be who they are so that they can put out the best work possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's interesting. Wow. I mean, I'm looking at your bio and came across, born and raised in Philadelphia, which is like one of the main cities for jazz phenomena and who came out of there, and your influences must have been pretty broad. Grover for one, I'm thinking about the Heath family, Jimmy and Percy and the other brother that I think he played, Albert. Yeah, I think he played the drums. If I'm not mistaken. And then of course, so many other. I think Stanley Clark from Philadelphia. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
A lot of people. A lot of people. Yeah.
People.
Yes. Philadelphia was cool. It was a cool city to grow up in. And of course, growing up with Philadelphia International Records being there, everybody came to Philadelphia at some point. Even the Jacksons came.
Oh yeah, they were on that label.
Record.
Mm-hmm.
The Jacksons did an album. Everybody came to Philadelphia to record it. It just had the Philadelphia sound.
Right.
And then I love that the theme song for Soul Train was, the sound of Philadelphia, which was such a cool. We thought that was, oh my God, they're using a song, from our city, for the Soul Train theme. And so so I grew up listening to just great music, and it was just like a melting pot of different types of music. Even like they play like jazz on the same station, and they play R&B, and then they put some pop songs in there too. It's like Hall & Oates, for instance, they're from Philadelphia. You would hear their music on, you would hear them, and then they play a Grover song right after that. So, I got exposed to different types of music.
Well, I mean, that's to me, that's the learning. That's the way that it's supposed to go. I mean, those are grade levels when you keep expanding your whole concept, and you just keep evolving year after year after year, and I can only say, as a fan, as somebody who really kind of got, I've been caught up in it ever since I was a little kid growing up, and listening to music and finding out the different styles. And when you talked about the Jacksons moving to Philly International, and it was totally different from anything they did at Motown,
And I know, and it was so good. It was like, oh my God.
Great. It was great,
It was so good.
I still play a lot of their stuff, especially when they went to Philly International,
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you had Tom Bell there, and and Linda Creed writing music and all of that great stuff,
Oh yeah.
I know. It's so cool,
It really is.
because I always think about the musical hot spots, from in America, and it's Philadelphia, Detroit, of course, Ohio too, with all the funk.
Oh yeah, Ohio.
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Right. Yeah.
And then Oakland, California.
Ohio was pretty much, the funk capital of the world.
Yes, everybody came for some reason. I always say it was so cold there that you just stayed in the house. You didn't spend a lot of time outside, because I lived there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I could see. I'm like, okay, I can understand where it came from. Everybody was locked in the basement because it was too cold to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I always think about the Ohio players, because I grew up on them.
yes. Oh, I was just so in love with that group. I got a chance. This is a funny story. I got a chance to you know how everybody's starting to put together the separate groups from different members.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the ones that are still around. It's probably like two or three versions of the Ohio Players. So I got an opportunity when I lived in in Ohio. My bass player that worked with me for quite a while, he just called me one day. We were just kicking it on the phone, and he said, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to go to this rehearsal." Because I was like, "Well, what are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while." He was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be playing with the Ohio Players." And so I was like, "The Ohio Players? Like, they're getting back together?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, Billy Beck is the genius behind the Ohio Players. He was the one that, when he came into the group, he wrote all the hits that we're all familiar with.
Yeah.
He was just like one person that made them, he had the songs, right?" And so I said, "Yeah, okay. I mean," so I'm like, "The Ohio Players, wow." He's like, "Yeah, they're looking for a horn section." So when I heard that, I was like, that was like my absolute favorite group when I was a kid. I was like, I want to be the horn section.
No doubt.
And so he was like, "I didn't know when to ask you, because I know, you're doing your own thing, and you're a solo artist and all this." I was like, "I want to play in that horn section. I want to say that I play with Ohio Players." So I get in there, we go up there, and I'm pumped because I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm playing Roller Coaster and Fire and all these horn parts that, I just kind of like knew."
Yeah, you grew up with all them songs. You'd be like, "Oh,
so I was just on a high, but it was something that didn't really get off the ground. It was kind of like, it was a great idea, but it just didn't happen. I think they tried, and it was, things are so different now.
Yeah.
With how many people travel in groups, and it was just
right.
I think they may have wanted it to be like how it was back in the day, but because you could be on the road with like 20 people in the band.
Yeah. They had a lot of a whole group of people in that band, no doubt.
It was like, this is gonna be costly, and I know. But anyway, it didn't happen. We went to the rehearsals, and that was it. But that was my experience. But I did end up doing a show in Cleveland, and they just came down and sat in, and it was phenomenal.
Wow.
And so what I was trying to say was, hey, listen, why don't we like pair up and scale it down? And I mean, everyone loves those songs, so we can all use my band, add a few more members. I was like, no disrespect. I know that, you guys were larger than life, but if you scale it down a little bit, still do that music.
Right.
And we just pair up. Hey, it could be a cool little thing. So I was hoping that happened, but it didn't. But anyway.
Why not? You never know. Never know.
It can still happen. I still have faith.
Yeah, it can still happen. Yeah, it still can. Right, right. So you went to King High School.
Yes.
And that's Germantown section. Okay. And I'm looking at this where, and it says you were required. Now I'm trying to figure out, okay, you were required. I guess as a Philadelphia musician, you were required to embrace both electric jazz, funk, and hardcore bebop. Now, can you do bebop?
I can do bebop, some bebop, yes.
Okay, I see.
I can. It's quite challenging, but that's what I started. That's what I actually practice with when I practice. I don't listen to, I pull out my Charlie Barker stuff.
Oh, there you go. Well,
and it's
now you're talking.
So that to me is like a whole nother level of I mean, that to me was the pinnacle of playing the saxophone. I mean, because some of the stuff he was doing was freaking. I'm still trying to grasp it and understand it, but whenever I know I really need to get chops up and really practice, I pull out that stuff. And John Coltrane.
Absolutely.
Those were the guys. I mean, they took it to a whole nother level. And so I did one of my songs on my second CD called 8 Days of Ecstasy. So I did the song that one of my friends let me listen to called One of the Cats. And it's very it's probably the most straight ahead thing I've ever done on all of my projects. And of course the record company didn't want me to do it. And it was so cool, the song. If you guys get a chance to listen to it, or you need me to send it to you, just send me your email. I'll send you the track.
Okay.
It's called One of the Cats. And the title of the song is interesting because when I was working on it, I was working on another track, but I was in the studio. Guess who was down the hall? I was in Philadelphia recording something. I think I was recording Secret Garden at the time with Patti LaBelle in the studio.
Wow.
I go out to take a break. Grover Washington's out there smoking a cigarette.
Dang.
Oh.
I go, wow.
Wow, really?
You know, how fate would have us there at the same time. And I was like, we had a conversation, and he said, you know, he knew how much he's really kind of indirectly how I got my first record deal. But anyway, fast forward, I got the record deal. He's smoking a cigarette,
Right.
get into a conversation, and I let him know how much, you know, I'm like, you know, you're the reason I really learned how to play the saxophone. I just, in case you didn't know, you're the reason. I didn't really have a formal teacher. I just had your records, and that's how I learned. I would just listen to everything you did. And he was like, you know, I appreciate that. He said, you know, you're just one of the cats. You know, and I thought the name, after I thought about that, I named the song One of the Cats, so that's where it came from. But it's one of the straight ahead songs that I did get a chance to do. So I'll send it to you. And my record company was like, no, it doesn't sound anything like anything else on the record. I was like, yeah, but does everything have to just always fit into a box?
I know.
Can it just, we've
Right.
got 10 songs, 10 or 11, 10 to 12 songs on a CD.
Why not? You know?
Just I wanted to stretch out and show just another side as
Right.
well. So I ended up getting a chance to put it on there. So
Do you think that? Well, I'm. You know what? I believe in people having freedom. I believe in people being able to express themselves in all sorts of, you know, genres and styles and things like that. Because jazz is like infinite. You know, sometimes you do stuff and there really is no name for it. You're just doing it, you know. And I think that, you know, it would be fascinating if, I'm gonna sneak this out there, hope nobody's hearing. The smooth jazz market say, okay, we're gonna give y'all an opportunity to explore, you know. And so, you know, because I know you guys want to try it. I know you do, you know, because I was at a concert last night here in the Atlanta area, and it's like a young lady was performing, and this was her first time in performing in front of a large crowd.
okay.
And one of her songs was an Ella Fitzgerald cover, and it was like she started scatting at the beginning of the song, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it blew me for a loop because she's only 22 years old, and I was
Oh
like,
my goodness. Okay.
I was like shocked. I was like, oh, she's
Yeah.
scatting. So, you know,
Okay.
really, it made me feel good. I was like, oh, she's not afraid. She's willing to take that step, you know.
Yes,
And you know, like, and I think about, you know, all the other genres of hard bop, and you know, I've heard stories about Kim Waters and Ronnie Laws getting together in a bebop session one time before the show started, and somebody was talking about those cats and Kim is like right there with Ronnie doing it, you know. And I was like, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
You know,
Love
that's
it.
that's the essence of how this stuff got started, you know.
Yeah, we
and,
can't, you know, we can't forget that. I think that we
Yeah.
need to keep it alive because, like you said, it's all an expression, an artistic expression in different ways, and it's all valid, and, you know, and it's all relevant. Saying, I actually hate that word relevant.
You said the cute, it's all
It just
relevant.
it makes me, there's something about that word that just sounds, it makes me cringe. It's offensive. I don't think to say that someone is not relevant is a terrible thing to say to somebody.
Yeah.
Everybody is relevant, you know. Everything that's been done in the past is relevant to what we're doing today.
Yeah.
You can't, like you said,
Yeah.
you can't just kick that over to the curb, you know, because
Yeah.
everything we're doing came from that stuff. Everything, even the scaled down form of jazz that we call smooth jazz, it still comes from that. You know, we're still using the little chords and the jazz chords. We're just using it in a different way. It's just still there. You
That
know,
is true.
maybe we have another groove under it, but it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And boy, now talk about experimentation. I mean, John Coltrane and those guys, they didn't see it. They didn't have like. It seems like during that era, they could just be artistic and because I had got this John Coltrane CD one day. I was like, I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna listen to Saturday afternoon. I'm gonna listen to some jazz. I put this CD on. I I love John Coltrane. Don't get me wrong, but it was something I didn't expect. It's kind of like they all were like push record, and everyone just were playing whatever. So imagine like a whole group of like maybe 5 horns playing something completely different all at the same time. And they were like, this is what we're just gonna record it, just go.
Right.
But I was like, what is going on? This sounds kind of out there. I really couldn't get through the song. The song was like 10 minutes long.
Oh yeah.
Okay, John, that's a stretch for me. That's a stretch for me, but.
And it's just, I mean,
that
is so that's, and I like where you're going with that, because it's like, it's like I was explaining to a gentleman last night at the concert. I said, jazz, it's like, there's no words for it. You just do it, and there are no written notes or anything. You're playing from your spirit that lives within you. It's a consciousness that you go to, and it's like you just go somewhere and everybody looks at you in the group and they just kind of go there with you, and it just becomes something magic. And it may not sound normal to some people, but those in the know, and it's not anything connected with anything that's like down here on earth. It has something to do with what's going on upstairs, in the great void that is heaven, that's where it's coming from,
Very spiritual.
And
I get it. You're right. I love where you're going to with that, because it's so true, and I wish we could get back to a time, let's say in radio, when like George Benson came out with on Broadway. It's like a 9-minute song. They didn't care. They just played the whole 9-minute version.
Yeah.
So now it's like my challenge now is that when I told you I did that independent project like 2001, it was a shift that happened in radio where they only wanted songs to be 3 minutes and maybe 50 seconds. That's really like, as an instrumentalist, that's very hard to, because see, we don't have lyrics or vocals mostly when you're an instrumentalist. So improvisation is where you want to stretch out on that track. And so by the time you play that melody in the chorus, maybe once or twice, there's a very, very little window for you to like really stretch out on a solo. And so I always found it so challenging to just squish a song into like 3 minutes. I even now at 4 minutes, because I call my radio promo guy. I'm like, what's the longest I can do the song, for them to really want to be comfortable with playing it on the radio. Yeah. He's like, just Pam, try not to go over 4:15. If you get it down under that, I'm like, oh, my sweet spot is just kind of like 4 minutes and 4:30, because anything less than, I was like, they didn't care back in the day. Now it's like, I don't know, I hate that the time thing is a thing, because that squishes your creativity to a degree.
Really
Some of the best stuff is at the end of the song too, and then you got to fade it out, because it's like, oh my God, it's over 4 minutes or 4:15.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense though. It really do, because like you said, it does squash your creativity, because you can't really. It got
a little crazy, guys. It got crazy around too, because that when they shifted the whole thing with it being more corporate for jazz, they required things to be so different in the studio. Like I couldn't have the creative freedom in terms of even using certain types of sounds. Like if you produce a track, they say they're not gonna play that. You can't use that snare drum on this particular song.
Wow.
It's too loud. Listen, they're trying to market this music to people at work who they want to hear jazz in the background, but they don't want it to be too funky. They don't want it to be, something that makes you want to really get up and dance or anything like that. They want it in the background. It kind of became like elevator music meets jazz.
Yeah.
I don't care if some people might get mad at me for saying it, but it's true though.
Yeah.
They made it very corporate.
They used the
They
term.
went around and they went to offices and they took a poll on what's the type of music you like to listen to in the workplace. And so now you have the birth of what you call smooth jazz, because it was more quiet. You couldn't have it. And it was frustrating because I remember this. I think the song should be how you as the artist feel you want to create it. And not everyone's going to like everything you do. That's just a part of being an artist. We don't know that people are going to like what we like in the studio. We're doing it from the heart.
Yeah.
So
right.
it might be big hit. It might be something that people go, I'm not feeling that one. You know, it's okay because maybe you might get them on the next one. But if someone's in the studio when you're producing music and they're like, no, you got to stop doing that, or you can't use this sound, and you can't, you know.
And that makes a lot of sense too, because I'm like you, Pamela. Yeah, because when you go to the smooth jazz stations and you listen to that format, and everything almost kind of sound the same in some sense. You know what I mean? The way so yeah,
absolutely. That's a part of it. Because it got to the point where you couldn't distinguish one artist from the next. You're like, I don't even really know whose song this is. Everything has the same sound. To me, jazz was never about that. Even R&B was never about that.
No.
You know, from the moment Stevie Wonder came out with, you know, I always use that very superstitious. He came out with that clavinet part in the beginning. You already knew who it was. First, it's like, 4 bars already. That's Stevie Wonder. I mean, even before he came in singing, you just knew it was that uniqueness to the music that just kind of got, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that was Stevie on playing that drum sequence too at the beginning of that. Yeah, opening up of Superstition. And then that clavinet came in right behind it, and it was in the pocket. It was so in the pocket, you know.
Just incredible stuff.
You know,
it was.
And it's the rhythm of that is so legendary. It just stands alone, you know. It still has other musicians trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
I know. Absolutely. I mean, that's, you know, when I listen to old school like all the time, mostly. And I say, you know, you get stuck, go dig into the archives of the great music from the past, you know, R&B and jazz. Because I grew up listening to, like I said, every type of music. So, you know, every now and then, sometimes I'll put on some rock in my studio.
I know that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. They were too. Rockers were doing it too, you know.
Well, I know, and even the rock and roll. Look, the modern rock and roll came from. Actually, that came from jazz and blues.
The blues artists.
Yes.
That's its beginnings. You know.
Muddy Waters and those guys. You know.
Yep.
But I mean, I loved when I watched Cadillac Records and the Rolling Stones said, "Hey, we named our group after one of your songs." Because I had not, you know, I didn't know that until I saw the movie. I'm like, how cool is that they named the Rolling Stones after Muddy Waters song?
Yeah, Muddy Waters song. Yeah, it sure was. Yeah.
Now I did read somewhere, Pamela, where you actually wrote for oh my goodness, it just left me. But you wrote because she's not here with us anymore. I know I hate that too. Let's see. Let me look, because I was just going off the cuff there. Tina Marie. Yeah. Did you do some writing for her as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we I met Tina. I was always a big fan of Tina's. Grew up with her music. Just one of those artists that I just always used to work with. And at the time when I started listening to her music, I think I had probably just started playing the saxophone. But she was probably out with her second album by then.
Wow.
And I was on tour with Patti LaBelle, and I just wanted to really meet her one day. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna meet Tina Marie. Maybe, who knows? You know, it's just, you know, you don't know who you're gonna meet, you just may have a fantasy about meeting someone in your life that's famous, but you're like, I don't know how that's going to happen. Like, we're worlds apart.
Yeah.
So anyway, so fate is just interesting. I just ended up being in Patti LaBelle's band, met her backstage at, Patti did a concert in Los Angeles, and Tina was there, and we just started talking. I didn't recognize her because she had on like probably some darker shades. I think she had on some glasses like these, but they were dark. She had on a hat. I didn't really know I couldn't really see her face. And so we were just vibing. And she was like, oh yeah, I love the show, and I love the way you play the sax. And I'm talking. One of my friends came by and was like, do you know who that is? And I was like, no, just some really cool person that I'm vibing with backstage. We just struck up a conversation. She was like, that's one of the people that you absolutely loved, said you wanted to work with. You don't recognize. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I didn't even recognize you. Like,
wow.
She goes, I know. Wow. I got on a hat and glasses. So I was like, man, so she gave me her phone number, and I didn't call for like a year because I think I went back out on the road or something. By the time I did call, her number was changed. So I was like, oh man, I kind of missed that opportunity. Like I had her phone number. And so, but I wanted to call her and say, listen, I want to play saxophone whenever you need a sax, because I know you have some sax in your music. And so I didn't get the chance to do that. So I ended up doing some stuff with Babyface. Okay. And Babyface did a concert in California. He did like this trial concert, and he invited only industry people, because I think he was not used to like being out on stage. So he wanted to like present his show to like all these people in the industry. And like Angela Winbush was there. It was interesting. Like, okay, so this is interesting. So he rented out this whole spot to just showcase his show, right? So Tina was there. Wow. And so I was there. I had just did this video for Babyface. I see Tina and I start talking to her, and I was about to say, I really want to work with you. And then somebody else came by and tapped me on the shoulder. And you know how it's kind of like a party afterwards. And so I started talking to them, and I turned back around and talked to her, and she was gone, right? And so I was like, I was like, I keep blowing my opportunity. I need to just say it while I have the chance. So anyway, I felt really bad after that because she left the party. And so this guy I was like, Tina was just at the party. I just like missed my opportunity to tell her I really want to work with her. So the guy was like, oh, I know her. I'll hook you guys up. So anyway, that didn't happen. But 3 months later, I'm at home, phone rings. It's her musical director. And he says, hey, this is Tina Marie's musical director. I got your number from, someone. And she's putting a new band together. She met you at the Patti LaBelle show. She loved the way you play sax. So if you want the gig, he was like, just come to the rehearsal. You don't have to audition or any of that stuff. Just show up. This is when we're going to rehearse, And so that's how I met her, and that's how I got in her band. And so, so we started hanging out. I was in her band for like 8 years. I actually got in Tina's band, I think right when I released my first CD. I had already released Saxtress, which was 1996. So I had already come out as a solo jazz artist. And so I think I met Tina like I met her right before the year before, because she was on Secret Garden, so we met in like 94. Secret Garden came out. Yeah. Took me like a year to work on it. And so, so Tina, we were, Secret Garden was her idea, because we were kicking it one day, sitting in the car listening to, and she goes, I got an idea for you. She's like, why don't you do a cover of Secret Garden? She's like, but we'll do it with all ladies. Like, I'll sing on it. She was like, you think you can get Patti? I was like, oh, I got it. I'm going to ask. And can't hurt to ask. And Patti had already said, she said, if you ever do a solo project, I'm going to sing on it. So I remember that she said that. So she was like, yeah, if it's me and Patti, and maybe we can get Shaka Khan, like, wouldn't that be awesome? I'm like, yeah, girl, that would be awesome. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. On my CD, that would be totally, completely awesome. I'm like dreaming, you start dreaming things. You don't know that dream sometimes, just you imagining it can really make it happen. Yeah. So I was like, well, yeah, this could be a possibility. Let me call the record company and tell them about the idea. So I called. I was on Heads Up at the time. I called him at the time, and I was like, I think we can do this single that could be really big. Patti LaBelle can be on it, Tina, and maybe we can get Shaka Khan. So they were like, Patti LaBelle singing on our humble little label. Because Heads Up was a small label at the time. I think they only had about maybe 5 or 10 artists at the time. That was pretty small for a label. And so they were like, yeah, heck yeah, you think you can get Patti LaBelle? She's going to do it. And I was like, I'm going to call her and ask her. So I called and I asked. And she was like, yeah, baby, sure. I told you I would sing on your record. Just let me know what you need. And so it started happening. I flew to Philadelphia with the engineer. We recorded Patty's part. And then Tina and I flew to, Heads Up was based out of Dallas, Texas at the time. So, they were from Seattle, Washington, but the studio that they used was in Dallas, Texas. So we flew to Dallas and recorded. We couldn't get Shaka Khan because Warner Brothers was like, no, she's been doing too many side projects. So no, she's, basically no. So Tina actually coached me through singing that first part, which I was like, I'm not singing on a record with you and Patti LaBelle. I'm not crazy. No, I'm not doing this. And she was like, well, we need a third vocalist. No one else can do it. She was like, and I've heard, well, you can do it. I'll coach you through it. And I was like, I don't know about this. This is some risky. I don't know. I don't want to be trying to sing on a track and Patti, you and Patti LaBelle on the track. No, I just want to, let me just play sax, So she was like, I'll coach you through it. I was like, all right, I'm crazy, but I'm going to try it. So we ended up doing it. And I was like, please don't let me be out here on a record sounding crazy. So she was like, just follow my lead. We're in the studio. We're doing the first thing on Secret Garden. And so she gives it the stamp of approval after we spent 2 hours doing it. And I was like, okay, if you say so, look, you're Tina Marie. If you say it's cool, all right, it's cool. I'm going to go with it. And so we ended up, when I went to go back to finish the song, the engineer had erased my vocal part.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
He goes, so I go back and he goes, well, did you get Shaka Khan? And I was like, no, we couldn't get Shaka Khan. Warner Brothers was like, she can't do it. So it's going to have to be my vocal on it. He goes, well, I erased it. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I spent, that was grueling, 2 hours of being coached by Tina Marie to sing it the right way. He goes, well, I thought you were going to get Shaka Khan and I needed the track. So I got rid of it. And I was like, oh my God, now we need to, I was like, I'm not going to no way am I trying to sing it now without Tina here. So
right. We're
going to have to find somebody else. So that's how we came up with Pat Peterson, who was the first person on Secret Garden. Because everyone goes, throughout interview after interview, everybody goes, I hear Tina and I hear Patty. Who's the first vocalist? And I was like, it's Pat Peterson. She was really unknown at the time. She was like, did a lot of background work around Dallas. Popular background singer, but no one knew who she was. And so she actually had a Shaka Khan type of vibe for the track. So I thought she did great on the track. Ended up using her.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so Tina and I kept working together. Started writing. I did write one song with her that ended up on her La Donna CD, and another track I produced for her that was on with Cash when she was on Cash Money Records. So it ended up being in on a soundtrack. It was the Wesley Snipes, and I think Ving Rhames, they were doing a boxing movie. Anyway, ended up on there. So yeah, we got a chance to do quite a bit of stuff together.
Film or something like that. A prison film or something.
Yeah. And then I think they were like they were boxing or something. But yeah, we got a chance to. That was interesting. That was a cool time because I was in Tina's band for 8 years, and so it became a time when some of the gigs I couldn't do for her, and so I ended up reaching out to Mindy Abair, and she was my stand-in for when I couldn't do my Tina Marie gigs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
A lot of people don't realize it, but yeah, that's how we met.
Wow. Well, I can't help but to ask, because I know before we came on air, me and you was talking a little bit about some of the other things that you do, and you mentioned about you doing some paintings. I'm staring at that painting of the man back there on the guitar. Is that one of your
Oh
paintings?
yeah.
Is that one of
Um,
yours?
Yes, Carlos
Yeah, Carlos
Santana.
Santana.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
that is
Carlos Santana.
beautiful.
And then I'll turn my camera around. I got some of my stuff hanging in. I got like artwork all over the place. I'll take my camera around so you can maybe see some of it.
Yeah.
So there's a. I love
Wow.
everyone who knows me knows that I'm obsessed with Prince. I love Prince. There's a Prince one, and then there's you see there's a. All right, I'm gonna walk around it. So if it's a little shaky, I'm gonna show you guys some of the stuff. Okay.
Okay.
So there is. Let's see. So there's one of Prince. There's my girl Shaka over there. Let me see. Can you see
Yeah.
Shaka? Here you go.
Your interpretation looks awesome, though. I love that.
So I'm gonna go in my other. I'm gonna go in here with. These are some paintings I just got finished doing. So, but I'm serious when I tell you I rarely get a chance to sleep. But so I did. One of my friends wanted me to do a self-portrait, but she wanted Prince and then she wanted Rick James, and she's like, "Well, I'm putting them in my music room, but you got to do you if you're gonna do them." I was like, "Okay, if you want me to." So I did. Let's see.
Wow.
Here's another Prince.
Those are incredible.
Those
Here's
are
Rick over here.
amazing. Amazing.
There's Rick, and then there's me down there. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, and then I did. I love the artist Frida Kahlo, so I did a portrait of Frida back over here.
Fabulous. Oh yeah.
Isn't that Rita Kahlo?
Frida Kahlo, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Rita Kahlo.
So yeah, that's what I do. I've actually been a visual artist way longer than I've been a musician, actually.
Wow. Well, you do
Wow.
that.
Yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful
I
work.
started. I get it from my talented father, who he doesn't like to paint anymore. He just stopped a long time ago because he's like, I don't really. He's like, my passion is fixing my artistic expression is fixing up houses. That's how I like to create. So he doesn't do it. I was like, okay, well, thank you, Father, for the gift of art.
I'm telling you. Well, you sure
And,
do. Have you ever done an art show with all the good stuff that you got?
I have. I haven't done many art shows, which I always want to do because I think it's really nice to have all your stuff in one place. But I always, the positive side is I always end up selling a lot of the stuff that I do. So
Yeah.
I don't have like enough stuff to actually do a show. But I'm now starting to like accumulate like a few stuff because like some of this stuff is just hanging around in my studio. So
Yeah. Very
one of these days, I did try to incorporate my art with a couple of shows, though. So
Oh, no,
one time
that's
I did
nice.
do that. It went over pretty well.
Uh-huh.
But that is something that I think would be like a nice combination to maybe do an art show and then do a concert after.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome
Yeah.
right there, I think.
So, yeah, I think so too. I think I'm going to put the wheels in motion for that to happen. There's a lady out here who had a gallery that had a theater in LA, had a theater on one side and a space for a gallery on the other. And I think she ended up passing away. So I think the ownership of the building, they changed it and turned it into something different. So
Yeah.
but that's okay. It's still I'll find a place to do something like that.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what I want to do real quick?
Absolutely.
I want to take a break, music break, because I want them to hear some of your music.
Okay.
The wonderful music. So I want to go ahead and do that the right time. Let them play that, and then
Okay.
and I might let another one slip by. One of the ones that comes off. I actually have a Serendipity and Stone Cold also. So
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Why not play the singles?
yeah, they're nice. They very nice.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, well let's do that, and then we'll come back and talk some more with Pamela Williams. So if you just tuned in, man, y'all missed out on some really good stuff. But you know you'll be able to go back and check out what you missed once the show is over. But we will be right back. So y'all keep it locked right here on the Indie Live Spot.
We are on and on, the rain will fall like tears from a star, like tears from a star.
out there was just really enjoying that wonderful sound, music right there coming from our guest today. And yeah, you right there, that was Stone Cold that you just got through hearing there. And then right before that, you heard the track, yeah, Serendipity. You heard that one right before that, and we kicked it off with her latest single, The Right Time. All of it, just awesome music. So, way to go. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
it.
Yes, indeed. And I see that everybody
Yes,
in the chat is enjoying it as well. So, definitely. But yeah, man, I tell you. Yeah. So what? Oh, that's what I was going to ask you also. So Pam, so what's actually what you have going on? Because you got like a special show coming up. I think from what I heard.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have two. I'm going to be in Lexington, Kentucky with Wick Braun, and that's going to be on the 10th of August. And then the following week, I'll be at the Carlisle Room in Washington D.C. 7 o'clock. On August 17th.
Yeah.
And yeah, so those are two big shows coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
yeah, because I think Annie mentioned the one up in DC.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope everybody comes out. You know, for those of you listening in that area, come out. Please come to the show. Yeah. Absolutely. It's been a minute since I've been in the DC area. So, I mean, I'm in Baltimore. I've been in Baltimore a few times, and I've been in Virginia. a few times, but it's been a minute since I've been in Washington, D.C. So come on out and check it out while I'm there.
Yes.
Come and check it out.
Yes, indeed. Now, we did play those other two tracks, like I said, the Serendipity and the Stone Cold. Now, were those two particular tracks, were they singles as well, or were they off of another album that you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Singles.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Yeah. So, Vaughn, what you got? Because I see you thinking.
Oh, you were talking about the collaboration with Tina Marie and Patty on the Secret Garden. Right now, just give me an idea of who you're just dying to collaborate, right? If you had the opportunity to get with these other musicians, who would you really like to collaborate with?
God, that's such a hard question.
No, it's not easy.
That's a hard one. Let me think. There's so many good other saxophone players I wouldn't mind doing some stuff with.
Right.
But you know who I really always wanted to, this is one of the people that I always wanted to be on stage with, was Chaka Khan. I know she doesn't have a whole lot of sax in her music either, but I just want to work with her at one point. But in terms of collaboration, like with other artists,
Mm-hmm.
God, it's so many people that I would love to do something with. Let me start off with, other than Chaka Khan, do you mean in terms of jazz, or it doesn't matter?
Yeah, it could be R&B, it could be
R&B.
jazz.
Yeah, I would love to do something with Chaka Khan. But yeah, Gerald Albright and I are really good friends. So he's playing bass on Serendipity, as a matter of fact. So we collaborated years ago before on one of the songs that ended up on one of my projects. I wouldn't mind working with him again on some sax stuff.
Gerald's an amazing sax player.
He is. I always loved him. But now he's just doing a lot of more straight ahead. Like I'm listening to him live. He's doing a series straight ahead things. Like, I don't know why I'm like, and I know he has a saxophone line called Cannonball, but he just reminds me, he's like Cannonball Adderley reincarnated. Something. He's just like,
and that's an excellent comparison. I never looked at it. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
He's playing a lot of them. Yeah, he's like, when I close my eyes, when I listen to him sometimes, I know Cannonball Adderley has to be one of them.
R&B soul feel to his playing as a jazz.
Yeah.
He's
incredible. And the bass playing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Bass playing is just phenomenal too. Because I had seen how he ended up on Serendipity. We were talking to each other on Instagram, and he was like, "Hey Pam, if you ever need me to play bass on anything, because I do that too." I was like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "Okay, since you offered the opportunity for that to happen, I'm gonna make that happen. Okay, my next single, I'm gonna call you." And so I did. I was like, "All right." So he played bass on it. And I was like, but I want to feature you as being the bassist, like, because I don't want people to not know that it's you playing bass. So, what is it going to take to have as a feature? We just did our own. He's independent now as well. So I like that we can call each other up and say, hey, you want to play on my song? And I'll play on yours, and no one can tell us no, basically.
That's interesting. I did not know he was.
I love it.
That is amazing. I did not know he went. He's an independent artist now. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of people. I think Boney James. I think there's probably a few other people following in that route. To me, it's like, if you can get in the studio on your own, and you don't really need to record in a big, expensive recording. No, probably most people don't record like that. I mean, you're a big star and you've got that budget, then you might want to go that route. But if you're kind of self-contained, or somebody who's good at computers, or a producer, you can create the music in your home studio. And I think a lot of people are doing that now. I don't know why. I I don't know, the role of record companies now is kind of strange, because now no one's selling physical copies of CDs, and my dog got caught in some of my wires in my studio. They're not selling physical copies of CDs, and I still try to encourage people to please download the MP3s, because the streaming is, it doesn't pay what it should pay. It's like a half a cent per 1,000 streams of your song. It's really hard to.
It really is. It's terrible.
It's like, ooh, I mean, if the Sirius XM is not playing your music, then you're not really making that much money from any of the other streaming platforms. And it's tough. And so they're I don't know how they came up with that figure, but it's crazy. Some crazy numbers, like 1,000 streams of your song, you only make a half of a cent for that.
Yeah, it don't make no sense. It really don't.
So I try to encourage people. I'm like, I know everybody can stream and you've got subscriptions, but it helps if you just go and click the download, because you figure just that $1, one track, it keeps, because we have to keep, we need to pay bills too. So we need to make money.
Absolutely.
We need to make money with this music. So it helps us, especially as independent artists, because we're doing it, we're funding, I have to fund everything on my own. So when it comes to being an independent artist, are you doing more of the work? Absolutely. But listen, you're able to be in control, and you are able to make your own financial deals, whatever they are. You're able to be in control. And I don't know, the role of record companies for me, I don't know, at this stage, really, really makes sense to me. There would have to be some super duper crazy out of this world deal, and I know that ain't gonna happen. So I like being independent. I get a chance to, like I said, pick and choose who I want to work with. No one's telling me how I get to record the way that I want. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think this is the happiest I've been since I've started recording music. This is like, once I was independent, I was really super happy. I was like,
that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I always think about, I reference Prince because he was such an artist, like innovative artist, but he was always thinking, hey, we should own our own masters. We're the ones creating the music. What's the matter? We're not saying you can't capitalize off of what we create. Let's just, I don't want to be getting the short end of the stick where you get 90% and I get 10 and I've created the music. We can all make money from it. But so I like the fact that he was always thinking like that. He was always doing stuff to try to be that independent artist.
It's still a form of exploitation, and I'm wholeheartedly against that. It's like I know when the Screen Actors Guild was going through their strike and everything, earlier this year, and everybody was hurting by it, and they want to use AI now, that the producers did, and they wanted to capture your image and use it for perpetuity.
Isn't it?
It was really bizarre, and I've had some opportunity to work in film and television in my life, and I just couldn't stomach that. I just couldn't do it, And so I was for them, and I was wholeheartedly behind their strike, and they were making pennies on the dollar, through syndication and all the production companies, putting all their old shows back to syndication again, making big money, and the actors weren't getting anything. And so that's the saddest thing about it. And I look at Spotify, I look at Siri, all the other high tech audio, whatever you want to call them, audio conglomerates. It's a travesty. It's a true travesty, and I just don't understand it.
Yes, and it is, and the same thing with the with musicians. Like, and I don't know why musicians don't get together. Like, the actors went out and they did a strike, and I don't know why musicians feel so disconnected. You need to do that. You need to, and look, don't.
I'm just being real. I am who I am. I believe in organizing. I just do. Because somebody's got to look out for you guys, and who can do it better than you yourself.
Exactly. And so, you know, it's funny because I think when that single came out, I was just trying to, like, I did a little video and I was like, look, everybody, just if you can, you have iTunes or whatever, just go download, because let me tell you what, these streaming services are not compensating people the way that they should. They're making millions off of our music. They've got commercials running. They got subscriptions. A half of a cent per 1,000 songs that you get to listen to. We don't even have a half a cent in our monetary system. It's like, who came up with that figure? So I found this video with Snoop Dogg, right? Snoop Dogg, I'm gonna post it up too.
Yeah.
I got a snippet of it. Snoop Dogg is at a conference with some representative from Apple Music, right? And so he's sitting on stage. So the guy goes, well, yeah, you know, this is a very exciting time for us. We're streaming music globally, and like, this is exciting. And Snoop goes, yeah, well, it might be exciting for you, but he's like, I want to know what the F is going on. Yeah. He was like, because this is not adding up. He was like, because back in the day, if I sold, you know, a billion records, I'd have $1 million. At least I'd get I'd have like $10 million in my pocket if I streamed that, if I sold that many songs. This is not, he's like, can y'all explain to me how this streaming thing is adding, how this is working? Because he's like, 1 and 1 is not equaling 2.
It sure is.
No.
And the guy on the thing was so shocked. It's so cool. He
called him out, didn't he? He called him out, didn't he?
He called him out. Because God's like, yeah, we're very excited. This is an exciting time. He says, I guess it is. All the money you guys are making off of the streaming. Yeah, I'd be excited too. Like, yeah, life is great. Like,
no doubt.
Like, well, please, somebody explain to me, how is this fair? Because they're making they making all that money. It's crazy. Working out for them. And they have the money. To. My thing is like, hey, listen, share the wealth. Share the wealth. It's nothing wrong with everybody getting somebody else's talent and work, but you know, just make sure the person who's creating the music, make sure that they're taken care of and that they can pay their bills. You know, and the actors got together, and I think by them doing that, they made some changes.
They had to make some changes. They had to. Yeah. Because you can't make a film without the human being, the human condition. You can't do it. You need actors. Yeah. You need actors to convey the emotion and be who. Yeah, sure. And you're a human being, for goodness sake. Yeah. How can you recreate that through AI? I think they're trying. Well, have you guys heard about what they're doing now? Like, they can, if you wanted to sound like Luther, they can just take your voice and make you sound like Luther Vandross. They can do it through holograms.
It's crazy.
You know, I was like, this is getting crazy.
Yeah,
come on.
It's sick. That's what it is. It's just
but
sick.
People start buying it. They be like, look, we got a market for AI. We don't need you now. You know, we can just have the robot can sing now. We don't need AI can sing. He can sound like Michael Jackson or whoever.
Man, that's terrible.
I know.
I hope it doesn't get to, I hope it doesn't get there. But listen, I just saw something yesterday that said something about some kind of AI music that they're using for something. It was something pertaining to television or something.
Right.
And I was like,
I wouldn't doubt it, and so like I as a just being, I'm just like a sponge. I soak up all the information, and I've been doing this since I was a kid, because I love the media, I love the art, I love art, period. I love all of these things that humans have accomplished and made beauty with it. And be able to reflect against society, it's grotesqueness and its beauty, and all those things is in the artist. And they get, they sell them this story about, well, you know what, we can make some money together if you just come in and join us. We can market your work and you can go on and do great things, but you sign that contract, there's a lot of stuff in it you just don't understand,
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's just greed. It's
Yeah,
pure,
that's what it is.
utter,
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
and
one
exploitation.
human. That's a bad defect of the human condition is greed, because it creates so much evil around greed. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people think in terms of. I think the worst thing is, of course, murdering someone, but greed is up there too, because greed just, heck, you know, sometimes people commit suicide because they don't have enough of what they need. You know, so greed is a horrible thing too. You know,
But it's
just
a
like
horrible thing.
it's all about me and mine and what I can make, but I don't care about your condition.
Right.
That's the
And
problem. You know, my thing is like, if we are in this universe, there's always been more than enough. Like we have we have God that created everything in abundance. So the delusion that, oh, there's not enough food and the world is too overpopulated, it's just some crap that they say because they want to be greedy. We have plenty of stuff and plenty of resources
Yeah.
in this world. It's just some people just want to hold it all for themselves, and that's the
Right.
problem. You know,
That's the problem.
it's a law of the universe. When you give out, when you give, you get back tenfold. You know, and I don't like that's just like how I try to like be with my way I work. I don't want anyone feeling like they put in work and they don't get compensated the way that they should or feel. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's enough to go around. I always have that philosophy. I'm like, there's enough to go around, and you know, I don't have to despite somebody else. I don't have to not just like even with the whole, you know, even it's harder now to do shows, you know, and it's hard now because things have changed, you know, and
Right.
so you charge a certain amount of money because when you go out to do shows, everything is so expensive now that you know you have to have, everyone has to think of each other. That's just my philosophy. It's like, I've got to think about you as a promoter. I've got to think about my band. You know, you need to think about me, what I need to spend to make this happen. So we all are conscious of what each other is doing.
Yeah.
I think we can all come out on top, and everybody can leave at the end of the night.
If you can make that point to whoever you're working with, we have to, you know, you got to look out for me like I'm looking out for you. You know, if everybody came to an understanding of that, that would open up that whole chain. You know, everybody would be looking out for everybody.
Yes.
But you know,
absolutely.
Lord have mercy. It's just it's upside down. It's upside down.
Because we need each other. You know, we need each other on a human level. We're more connected than what we think. You know,
right.
And so I don't want to feel like, oh, I'm getting ahead and, you know, forget about everybody else. You know, that, like you said, that's the problem with the world. You know.
Yeah.
And maybe one of these days we'll see a world, I don't know. Maybe one of these days we'll see a world where they use all this technology for the benefit of people. And, you know, like there's people still starving in other countries. No one in this world should have to starve for food. It's the stuff that's thrown away every day from a restaurant. Like,
I know.
We have so much more than what we even can use, you know. And then you see these people in other countries that are like starving, you know what I mean? I'm like, really? The money that they'll make on one movie is enough to feed a whole country.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
A movie that can make $1 billion. That's probably low end now.
Yeah.
Can you imagine all the people you could feed with that kind of money?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So right. So right.
So I just hope we, as human beings, like, you know, we're not perfect, but we can do better. We can do better for each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
But this conversation is this is how artists talk, because that's what we do. We represent.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, we see it every day.
Yes.
And you know, I think about that was, I think it was a speech years ago. I had read it. I came up across the actual print of it one day. Something John Kennedy said back when he was president. He said something about, that's the artist's job, is to reflect society back at itself. You know, it was awful.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we do. You know, and so I just sit back and at my age now, I'm at the point where it's like, I'm tired of this. You know, I'm tired of it, and I want to see us do better.
Yes.
I want to see us.
Some change, some positive change, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because we should be. I mean, come on, this is 2024. We're human beings. We're supposed to be progressing towards better things, better lives for everybody, and we have the technology and the resources for it to happen.
We do. We really do.
It's certain people in our society, they don't want that to really happen. They're like, no, this is messing with my money. You know, I don't want advancements in technology. I don't want clean air if I can't sell dirty gas or fuel anymore. No, I don't care that we have the technology to not even ever have some of the stuff that I had seen this video years ago. It was something that was floating around the internet. It was so interesting. It was called Zeitgeist. It's so good to be part. And if you guys get a chance, I don't know if you've seen, it's deep. I got a hold of it somehow, and it was so intriguing that I watched all three of them. That last one was about technology, and they were talking about how by now our world should be like how it was actually the Jetsons, like the cars that can hover. They're like, we have the technology. Insurance companies don't want it to happen. Gas companies don't want it. They're like, it's those old people that are still holding on to that old money. They don't want new technology because they're like, wait a minute, that's gonna mess with my money. So they keep us kind of back. Like, you know, in other countries, in Japan, they got so much stuff that we're like, oh my God, they have this out now. We don't have it here. Yeah. Because they want to keep making the old money the old way that they used to be making it. So they stop us from progressing as a society. But you're right, as artists, I think we should use arts to try to uplift.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is why I cringe. Everybody, this is why I cringe when I hear certain stuff on the radio, you guys.
I know.
I cringe. Like, oh my God, no, I am not hearing this.
Right.
Like, did you actually put this on a recording? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I think, I go back to George Floyd and all of the protests that was in the streets. And I remember when I was a kid growing up, I was old enough during the 60s to see the marches Dr. King did and some of the other protests that were going on during that time period. And a lot of it was through my parents' eyes, because they had been through Jim Crow and all these other things, horrible things.
Yeah.
And they were giving us this information about what was life like, And during the George Floyd thing, one thing that I was missing that I got in the 60s that wasn't present during all the protests during that time period, there was no protest music. There were no voices like Marvin doing What's Going On. There was no Curtis Mayfield doing songs like Get Ready, There's a Train A-Coming.
Right. Yes, I remember those.
There was no none of the music by like Gamble and Huck, all of that music that Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes were doing, and Paul, and there was no James Brown, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. There was none of those things, and all of this, and it something felt very vacant for me. I'm like, what am I missing here? What am I missing? There was no Donnie singing Little Ghetto Boy and the Temptations and the work of Norman Whitfield and all of his stuff, Cloud Nine. All of those, that was vacant. And so that's what I've come to the conclusion that, why can't we still do that? It's because the record companies, they don't want you doing it,
No, and now the whole promotion of this ghetto rap where they have people killing each other and glorifying it. It's like, that's just, I'm sorry, people may get mad at me. I know some of my younger nieces and nephews be looking at me like, what are you talking about? You need to get with this is what's happening now. This is our era. And I'm like, yeah, but it's degrading.
Very degrading.
It's degrading. Like, this is not love. Like these people are singing about, and then glorifying killing. That's not glory. That's not. There's no glory in dying young on the street.
No.
Guns on album covers. It's so that it can destroy a whole group of people. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
It's just another tactic to make money, to make a bunch of money and destroy a whole culture at the same time.
Right.
And hide it under the package of music.
So unfortunate.
It's really, you know what I mean? And that, to me, that needs to just go away. I'm sorry. I was in the car with I was in Philadelphia in the car with my nephew. He wanted to borrow my father's car to say he was going to go on a date, right? He puts on. This is not even his character. He's not the kind. He's an artist. He's not into any like hardcore rap, but he was playing it in the car because I guess he was trying to impress someone. But when I heard the lyrics, I was like, I know you are not going to go out on a date listening to this music.
Wow.
And I was like, and my father said, young man, you're going to have to turn that off in my car.
I know that's
because
right.
The lyrics are so explicit that I couldn't even believe it. I was like, oh my God. Like,
It's
I was like, you need to turn that off right now. And he was like, okay, I'll turn it off. I was like, because this is like porn on a record. This is porn. I'm listening to porn and with my father in the car. And I'm like, you don't even listen to this kind of music. Like, why are you even playing this? He was like, just trying to fit in and trying to be cool, And I'm like, that's not cool though.
No.
And then I was like, what kind of I know that the young lady that you're going out with, she doesn't want to listen to this kind of music. They're just, it's like hoe and bitch and every other.
Yeah.
And the stuff was so vulgar. They just talked about the whole act right on the song, like explicit lyrics.
That's pretty much what they do.
Oh my God.
It's crazy, right?
At least Marvin Gaye. Okay, so Marvin Gaye, people go, well, you like Prince, and he was very explicit. I'm like, yes, I do. And he was being some of that stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. But with Chris,
he always some of it in a metaphor.
Right.
Leave it to my imagination. We have imaginations. We can imagine. You can suggest certain things, but you can still do it in a way where you can imagine the rest of it.
Yes.
You don't you don't have to put it all on the record. It's too much.
Oh no, this generation, what do they call them?
If I had a little girl, little boys too, listening to that stuff, it's just too much. Because I'd be the one, if I see my nephews looking at something that they're not supposed to look at, I'll be like, give me that iPad right now. You're going looking at this. You watch an animation movie.
Right.
Or read or play a game. What are you doing? You
and that's the problem that they need. The children need their parents to do that, snatch that stuff from them whenever they're doing it. And a lot of them are not doing that. So it's just
because it's like a babysitter, and I think that the internet is Pandora's box. I love the technology, but at the same time, it's scary what you can find on the dark web.
Oh yeah, especially now.
All you got to do is type in, and these kids know how to do it. They know how to find all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they do.
So you just gotta. We have to be more aware, and not let them watch certain videos because. Their minds are so open to that kind of stuff. And I've seen some videos that some of these artists are putting out that are I can't even believe what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can't believe what I'm hearing. That's what I'm saying.
I know. I was like, oh my God, they've really gone to the dark side this time.
Yeah.
They had that one video where this guy was like doing stuff with supposedly Satan, I guess, having sex with Satan on the video. I was like,
oh my goodness,
what is going on? Like, who's listening? Who's like into this type of music? Like, this is so dark.
Yeah.
Why glorify the dark side of life? But you're right. We come a long way. Look at Marvin Gaye, the What's Going On album. What a classic. I mean, it was just one of those albums that
what I call it?
Wake people up on a mass scale.
It's an immortal album.
Yeah, timeless.
It is.
Goes on and on and on, and nothing has changed.
I know. You can hear it now, and it's like, wow, he just made the record. world we live in.
Exactly.
Janet Jackson did it when she did. I thought she did it when she did Rhythm Nation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like a socially uplifting.
Yeah.
You know, her record company didn't want,
That's amazing.
but it was. Ended up being one of the number one selling album of all time. Yeah, I think to say. I wish rap would have gone it out. You know, talking about I was over somebody's house and the food wasn't good.
Yeah.
You know, or be
You know,
the best MC you could be. It wasn't all this like, you know. I just want. I wish the.
It had
I wish
it had at its beginnings. You know, you had what is that? Fight the Power That Be with Chuck D and
Yes, yeah.
and all those guys, and then you had ARS-1 doing its stuff, and
Yes.
you know, there were a lot of them. Like even Queen Latifah had hers out too. You know, women's, you know, women's rights and all that kind of stuff going on. So, but somebody flipped the script on all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and they wanted to, you know, introduce gangster rap along the way, and it hadn't been the same since, you know.
It hasn't.
Hasn't been the same.
Hasn't been
And I
the
know.
same.
And now it doesn't even seem like there's a platform for any real singers. You know, back in the day you had so many vocalists and so many musical groups, and now
Voice out there left and right, you know.
yes, we had so many to choose from, and now, you know, if you're not into, and I know like you have, you know, Beyonce and artists like that, but it's a very few of them at the now they're at the top of the pyramid in terms of
but there's
musical artists, but it's very few of them. But back in the day, there was so many, like you could choose from so many different people. So I want to know, like, where is the platform now for some of those artists who still have those beautiful voices?
Right.
There's no real avenue for them to make new music.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I knew when Luther had passed. I knew at that point. I said to myself, I was driving a car going across town one day, and I said, there will be no more ballad singers, male ballad singers, and none has come to the forefront since Luther has passed.
Yeah.
See,
So,
wow, yeah,
and
it's deep.
talking about relationships between men and women have changed. You know, they're talking evil to each other in all these songs, and you know, that's not what it's about. It really isn't.
Yeah, because what about the love songs that made you listen to the
yeah,
song and you're like, that song itself put you in the mood
Right.
because it was romantic.
Yeah.
And it was,
Yeah.
you know, then you had the way the guys would sing, even with their, I used to love the guys with the falsetto voices,
Yeah.
but like the Temptations, groups like that, where, I mean,
Yeah.
the stuff, that kind of stuff will get you in the, I'm like, because it had love. I think it was singing about, there is love there. They're singing about love.
About love
and not,
Then you have
I
songwriters
just want to do this with this person, and that's all there is. It's no love. There's no connection.
Right.
They were really truly love songs.
Yeah. And they were very
They
respectful
just make you
too.
melt when you listen.
Very
Yeah,
respectful.
I mean, we're human. We know what we do as human beings. We all know. You know, it's a part of the human thing, but it's a way to approach
part of the
it.
human-
It doesn't have vulgarity. It doesn't have to be vulgar.
Right.
And that's a lot of what we have.
Yeah, that's what we got now.
I hope that we can get back, you guys, to some of the. I hope we can get back to some of that some of that real music that we did, that I grew up with. You know, I hope we can get back to that.
I hope so too, because you know it shouldn't be an atmosphere where you have to watch out. We shouldn't. I wish it was back to like you said, like where we don't have to watch out for the kids, because now you have to, definitely, because there's just so much crazy stuff out there. And you know, back in our day, it's like, you know, everything was respectful, and you didn't have to worry about you know, what he's gonna say on his album, you know, and all this stuff and all that kind of stuff. But
Or when you're out with your daughter.
yeah.
And then something comes on while you're shopping at the mall.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Ooh, yeah.
Because you can't be in here listening to this. Like that kind of stuff is shocking to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. I can't even believe.
much.
I'm like, cover your ears, you know. And so that to me, that's like, if you want to listen to whatever you want to listen to in the privacy of your own home, look, that's you. It's just have respect for everybody else around.
Yes.
And you know, when it turns, I notice it too, like at shows when younger people come, like sometimes people bring like their teenager, somebody, even like in their 20s to a concert. They love the music when they hear it. And you can tell they're young. And I'm like, see, they like what we're doing. They love the jazz. They love it. And my stuff is it's not straight ahead. It's funk. It's kind of funk and jazz mixed together and R&B. But when people bring, I can always tell that they're really into the music. Yeah. But they don't. That's not what's marketed to them. You know, record companies don't market that stuff to them. I know when they're at their live performance, they are getting into the music.
I think the reason, Pamela, what happens to them, I think it's because of the fact when they hear it live, you know, if you're playing it for them, if they happen, you know, bring young children in there to actually take part in listening to it live, it's because it's not played anywhere. You know, radio doesn't, I'm going to be honest with you, it's tough to find a jazz format on a radio station.
Yeah.
So, I mean, our haven now is internet radio. That's where we've, and we're out there all day long. But for a child to be engaged in that music, you would literally have to be able to present that to them to let them know, here's something different you probably never heard of before. You know?
Yeah, sure.
And as
yeah, sure.
Yeah, and
that's how we got exposed to, like, you know, I'm sure that's what happened with you guys. Like, you heard something your parents were listening to. Like, I got into jazz because of some albums that my grandfather had, you know, laying around. You know, I was like, oh, what's this? And he'd be like, oh, baby, let me play it for you, you know. And then I was like, oh my God, I love this, you know, just by being exposed to it that way.
It's not there. Yeah,
right
it's
now,
not being.
That's true.
You know, this is you know, I happen to program a internet radio station, and it's just like, you know, I'm constantly experimenting every day with the playlist. I'm just, you know, I love what I'm doing because I just wish that I could get an audience to actually hear what this sounds like, you know. Right. And people enjoy it immensely. Because if I had to hear what I'm listening to on a daily basis like they are, I'd go nuts by now.
Oh yeah.
I know.
No doubt.
It would literally have to get me to an insane asylum.
Have you guys seen the videos where they like have like younger people listening to like a lot of the music that we grew up with, and so they say they've heard it for the first time.
I have no idea. It was like seen them. I've seen.
They love it, but they are blown away when they hear it.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh my God, listen to this. Somebody actually did. I was shocked. I found somebody from Atlanta that did Secret Garden. It just popped up, and I was like, oh, they're doing Secret Garden on one of those. I'm hearing this for the first time type of thing. Right. So it was interesting to find that. I didn't know anybody. And I'm like, okay, it was really funny. They were like, well, we don't usually do instrumental music, but we did. We know of Secret Garden. We've heard the guys do it, but this one has the ladies on it. So, so it was funny to watch their reaction.
And you know, like all the music that's been sampled over the years, and some of the kids hear some of that stuff that's been sampled, and they're like, oh, this is stuff. And then when they hear the original, it's like it blows them away because they don't.
I had an art. Somebody was debating me on some song. They swore it was new. I forgot what it was. Probably. I don't know. Somebody that I was talking to. They're like, no, this is new. I'm like, no, trust me, this is not new. Look, I got the record in my music catalog. I'm gonna go find the original so you can. Since you don't believe me, I'm gonna go dig out the you are going to be shocked.
Uh-huh.
I was like, there's probably not that many things that are new anymore. It's all been done. Like even now when I like write stuff, we have to, there's only so many chords in music, so you have to find a way to repackage what's already been done.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that different.
I remember when Little Kim did that song. It was a rap song that she did, where she sampled "Rain Dance" by Jeff Lorber.
Oh.
And so when that came out, I was like, "What is going on?" And so, when I first heard it, I was like, "Okay, I guess it's okay. If she got the permission from Jeff to do it,
Yeah.
I'm with, But if I move forward into like maybe 6 or 7 years after that song came out, some young fellows was listening to it at work, and I said, that's an old song. He said, "No, man, that's a great song, man. It ain't old. It's out." Really, you have no idea where that music came from. He said, "Lil' Kim did it. Lil' Kim did it." I said, "No, done nothing." I said, and I went in there, and I had a Walkman during that time period, and I clicked on play, and they listened to it, and they said, "Wait a minute, who is that?" I said, "It's a jazz group." He said, "A jazz group?" I said, "Yeah, that's a jazz group. His name is Jeff Lorber, and it's called the Jeff Lorber Fusion." He said, "What does fusion mean?"
Oh, wow.
Combination of jazz and rock. And he said, rock and roll. No, I mean like heavy metal, but it's jazz, And so he said, "Well, what's the name of the song?" I said, "It's called Rain Dance." I said, "No, that's Lil' Kim, bro." I said, "No, that is Rain Dance." It was recorded back in 1977. And he was like, "What?" I said, "It's a sample." It's a sample.
Yeah, to give him
I
that.
think there's a dispute happening now with Kanye West, who's I think he's using Donna Summer's "I Feel Love."
Oh, wow.
But I think I don't think that I think they said they didn't want him to do it, but he did it. He used it anyway. Now they got it legally. But he checked I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's something like he just totally changed it around. "I Feel Love" to "I'm in hell" or something like that.
Oh, no.
Something crazy. I was like, here we go with everything shifting over to the dark side of life. And I guess they heard it and was like, "Oh no, not my mom's legacy. I don't want that to be." Because that happened with Grover Washington with Just the Two of Us. This was back, and this was like early on when rap was still kind of clean, but they were still like starting with the whole, using certain language on top of it. Was starting to go there, and Grover. Right. So they wanted to do Just the Two of Us. I think Grover wouldn't let them do it. I think he said no. He didn't want them to. And I'm sure he sacrificed a lot of money because you get when let's face it, when they sell records, and it goes to the top, you can make
that's true.
Off of just having, you can make off of just having your song one thing on the right artist. They sample your song. That can be depending on who it is.
Yeah, it can be a plus. It can be a positive
a lot of money.
in some aspects. You're right. But then you have to
but
kind
if you
of
don't, if you don't mind them putting some stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, why does it have to be so negative? Like, why couldn't you just use the track, but you don't have to, why you gotta put "I'm in hell" on top of a track that was like "I Feel Love"? I mean, why do you gotta take that and then, but I think he did it anyway.
Oh. Because,
here's the thing, there's a thing called a compulsory license.
Oh, yeah.
Which means technically you really don't have to get the artist permission. Like if somebody wanted to do a cover of one of my songs, they don't really have to call me up and say, "I want to do a cover of one of your songs." Now they could just do it. Yeah. Because there's a thing called now they still have to pay you your mechanical rights for the use of your song. They gotta pay you for it.
Yeah.
But they technically don't have to call you up to get permission. And they made that law so that, because a lot of times it's not easy to find these people.
That's true.
Like if you want to do a cover of a song, you can't just call up the person and go, "Look, hey," I get their phone number and be like, "I want to do song,
Mm-hmm.
so they made it a thing where you can just do it without the permission,
Yeah.
but you still have to find out who you need to pay.
Yeah, you still have to pay, right? Mm-hmm.
And now with the internet, now with streaming, you don't have to worry about it. They're the ones responsible for, like, if you write a song
Yeah.
and I record your song, the whoever's streaming it is responsible for paying you the mechanical royalty for your song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
That's
lot,
all.
lot of
The
things
internet has
changed.
changed
It's
stuff.
changed a lot, hasn't it?
It's different.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is. It's so different now.
All right, well, it's about that time. I can't believe it. Wow. But gosh, this show has been a pleasure talking with you today, Pamela, having you on the show. Really enjoyed it. And
So did I.
yeah, and before
We talked about so many different things.
so
huh?
many different
We
subjects.
digressed. Huh? We
Yes.
talked about
It's awesome.
music, politics, all kinds of stuff. Huh?
I love it. I love
Social
it.
awareness. But that's what it's about. You're
That's
right.
what it's about. Definitely.
It's
And
about
I
that.
appreciate the fans listening to the music over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been challenging to keep going, but I'm still being on the radio and people are still listening. They're still coming to the show. So I feel forever grateful that I'm still able to do this and to do this independently. I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate the interview as well.
Oh yeah. Well, you left your mark on this world.
Aw.
Yeah. So it's
And I got more stuff to do. So
yeah. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
absolutely.
Before we do drop off of here, let everybody know how they can follow you and keep up with you.
Oh, okay. You can go to my website. It's www.pamelawilliamsthesaxtress.com. I'm on Instagram, Pamela Williams the Saxtress, and you can find me on Facebook. And so, yeah. And once again, if you guys are in the Washington D.C. area, or if you're traveling, don't mind travel, come to the show on the 17th of August. It's gonna be fun,
Yeah.
and I hope I see you there.
Awesome. And who's all going to be on the show with you?
So, well, the show that I'm doing on the 17th is just me. It's just moi at the Carlisle Room. So there's no other artists on the show. And but in Lexington, I'm going to be with Rick Braun on the 10th of August.
Okay.
Rick Braun. All right.
Yeah. So that should be an interesting, fun show. And I think I don't know if they still have tickets for that one because it's right around the corner. But I hope I see everybody there. Come out and support, And I can't. And you're in Atlanta, right? I haven't been to Atlanta in a minute. I was at the sweet food lounge. Yeah, love that spot. Love it. I played there like 3 times, and the food is so good.
Yeah, it's a spot. It really is.
Oh my God! So, are they still doing shows there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They definitely still doing shows at the Sweet Food. No doubt about that.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, I hope I see you in Atlanta soon as
My
well.
goodness, yes. Absolutely. Come on.
Okay.
'Cause I know St. James Live. They have their spot in Atlanta, and
Okay.
I'm sure you know Lori Williams, right?
Wait, I think I do.
Okay, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you and Lori are kind of same circles.
Radio personality?
No, she's actually a great singer. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Wait, no. Lori Williams. I don't know. I think I thought you were talking about somebody that worked in radio there. No, I don't know her.
Oh wow, yeah, Lori Williams. My goodness, she's been with everybody. I mean, she sings her pretty little head off. She's
I
amazing.
probably know who you're talking about, and I'm not putting the name
Yeah.
with whoever it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the clubs are here. We're still pushing out jazz, and and it's just interesting. Just right at this time period, we're really picking up the pace, and we're trying to introduce more mainstream and straight ahead jazz right now in the community to let the kids know exactly where this stuff comes from. So
yes, I'm so glad for that. That's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah,
Gary's
I mean,
like, look, it's over, you guys.
No, we're
Gary's
good.
in the
We're
background.
good.
Like, the podcast is over.
We're good. We're good. Yeah.
It's been a
it's
pleasure.
okay. I mean, I'm just looking forward to, hearing more great music from you, Pam, and just looking forward to being able to, get your stuff on my radio station, and so we can like get you out there. But you're already out there, But
Well, I
I
could be out there some more now. I could be out there a little bit more.
I know.
I appreciate all the help. It's a little bit more challenging nowadays. You got a bunch of people coming in, and so but some of us old people that's been around for a minute since the 90s, we're still here doing it. And so just don't forget about us, because we're still
at least bit.
we're still here. We're still hitting hard.
That's right. That's right.
I appreciate all of the help that you can offer. And if you ever need me to like do anything for whether you're on any drops or any interviews or anything, or sending you any type of music, let me know.
Definitely.
I got your Facebook page, I got your Instagram page, and your
Right. So when I get off, Gary, I'll text you my email address and you can pass it on. So,
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys need anything, like, hey, I need some new drops or whatever, or some new music or some old music, I'll send you whatever you guys need.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Okay.
We'll definitely keep the light on it. We'll definitely keep the light on. Okay.
Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy the
All
rest
right.
of it, and thank you so much. All right.
You're welcome. All right.
All
See you
right.
guys soon.
Okay.
It's my
Bye.
Hey, my
All right.
Wow, this is.
Well, I guess we will get off of here. And for all you viewers and listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. And please join us next week. And stay hydrated out there in the areas where it's so hot. I know a lot of these areas are still kind of blazing. We're feeling pretty good here in Oklahoma City. So we're finally kind of cooling things down. But again, everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll see you again next week right here on the Indie Live Spot. All right, everybody.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right, you too.
Take me up tonight.